Welcome back to Clear Talk. On today's episode, we are going to cover how to handle conflict between clients in your coaching program.
And then we discuss how you can make 2021 your most productive year ever.
And lastly, how to set a New Year's goal using the big domino goal method. I'm going to explain it step by step so you know how to make the next year the best year ever. By the way, let us know in the comments down below, what is your New Year's goal for 2021? Enjoy the show. Welcome back to Clear Talk. I'm your host, Armin Shafi. This is my co-host,
Jeanette Oduro.
looking just like the logo, black and red. Welcome back. This is the #1 show for entrepreneurs and coaches who need clarity on their business and growth and mindset so they can build a huge business, make a big impact while still getting clients consistently. So the big question is, how did coaches like us who started with nothing and risked everything to build a business around helping other people, how do we go from building a business from scratch, getting clients consistently, getting our marketing and our message out there while still making a huge difference? That's the big question. This answer will give you the answers. If you guys want your questions answered on this show so you can get tons of free coaching and free value, then all you got to do is go to askarmin.com, submit your questions, and we will answer them live every Monday at 12 p.m. Eastern Time is when we go live inside of the High Ticket Coaching Community Facebook group. So if you're not a member already and you're watching this on YouTube, then go ahead and go to highticketcoachingcommunity.com and you will be able to join the group and be a part of this every week. Everyone can ask questions, we give value in the group, and we go live so you can be with us live in the show. Now, if you're on YouTube and you like content around growing your coaching business online, going high ticket, learning how to make a difference while making an impact, then go ahead and hit that subscribe button and that little notification bell so that you get notified every time we come out with brand new videos. We release 2 videos a week, this show and a free training a week around things that you need help with, how to get clients, how to do marketing, how to run ads, anything, how to create your outline for your program. Like I have a course inside of YouTube. Like legitimately, I had someone get on one of our calls and say, you give so much value on YouTube, I wonder what do you possibly charge for in your program? And I'm like, well, that's the whole, that's the whole trick. Like you think what I'm putting on YouTube is all it takes.
Yeah.
It's hilarious. But it's enough for you to go, wow, this guy like knows what I'm talking about. Of course I do. But the program is way more in depth, and what you really pay for when you join our program, speaking to clients, is coaching.
Yeah.
Right? Like it doesn't matter if you know how to do it. It matters if you do it well and do it right. And that has those are two completely different things. So yeah, welcome back to the show. We answer questions from you guys. Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, Happy Hanukkah, Happy New Year by the time you're probably watching this, or if you're watching this in the future. It'd be weird if someone's watching this like 5 years from now, 2025. Zoom in on my face, Terminator. Okay, cool. So let's go through the questions.
Let's do it.
Any updates for you?
Not really. Just Christmas, good time with the fam. It's a little different this year, of course, but naturally.
What are you talking about? You guys, like, it's normal. Every year we get on Zoom and open presents at each other's homes all alone. How many of you guys did your Christmas or your holidays on Zoom? We did.
We did a portion. We did some of, like, I was with my immediate family. Yeah. So, like, my mom, dad, brother, sister.
But extended family.
Yeah.
Zoom,
mostly calls all day. Various calls, like different groups of people. Hey, how are you? Hey, how are you? Talk. Chat. And keep moving. So that was fun. For the first year, it was
different. We did Secret Santa in our family, extended family. So we all like drove around and like left presents at the doorstep of the person we got.
Aw, that's
so
cool.
We were like running around like making sure not seeing, and like we would pick the present not knowing who it's from, but we know it's for us. So that was really funny. Yeah. So we had a fun time. We made it a fun time. It was actually Upton's idea with Shayna. So my cousin came up with the idea. I'm like, yeah, we should try this.
That's very cute.
Yeah, that was funny. Okay, cool. Let's get into the first question.
Question number 1. I have a group coaching program. If I have a couple of egos clashing within my community, what should I do? Separate them from everyone and do one-on-one? That question is from Steven.
Ooh, that's a good question.
It's juicy, right?
It's a juicy question. It's like a steak. It's got a nice New York steak.
What?
What is it, sirloin?
Sirloin?
No, sirloin. Not sirloin. Juicy. And the type that you cut into it, still like juice comes out. That's the kind of question it is. So, there are two ways to look at this problem. First of all, it's not a problem. There's two ways to look at this situation. One is, you got to get better at choosing who you let in. Okay, I'm training new sales reps right now in our company for selling our program, and I made it very clear to them first thing. I'm like, it doesn't matter if you get the person on the phone willing to buy. It doesn't. What's more important to us is quality. So if you're on a call with somebody and you can hear they're going to be a problem, like their personality, they're entitled, maybe they have egos, maybe they're not coachable, maybe they just complain or criticize 24/7 on the call, maybe they have a bad attitude, maybe they're full of fear to the point where it's like it's unbearable, like not even open-minded to getting over the fear, but more so they're like traumatized, like just by thinking of paying for something. If you find people like this, it's okay to let them go. I make my team know that. Like, it's okay. I'm not going to be upset if you don't close enough sales, but you tell me that the sales you didn't close, they were a bad fit. Yeah. And it's funny because, like, a lot of coaching companies and businesses, a lot of people that sell coaching programs, they try to sell everybody, most of them. And I know because I've worked inside some of them, and I've been clients of some of them, so I know the kind of people they let in. It's like there's no way they have actual standards, but they teach that you should see if it's a fit. And we see it in our marketing, book a call, let's see if it's a fit, right? Yeah. But I don't think anyone actually lives up to that, most people. But we actually do here. Because I know the cost of having a bad person in a program. And what I mean by bad person, I mean like, it's just not a fit. Like with your thinking, their thinking, your ego, their ego, it's not a fit. There are fit and unfit people. It has nothing to do with whether they're good or bad. But here's the thing, like if you pay, for a program, most of the time it's like you pay once, you're in it forever. Sometimes it's you pay once, you're in it for a few months, and then you got to keep paying. Whatever the model is, for that time period that they pay to be in it, you don't want to calculate the sale, right, only. You want to calculate the weight of delivery. And the weight of delivering that sale, that what they paid for, is going to be contributed. It's going to be the factors of them as a person also is in that weight. So someone, for example, who is incredibly technologically unsavvy, joining our program to learn how to set up a funnel, run ads, like, to some degree, we have a limit where we go, is this person able enough mentally to learn this? Are they open to the coachable? Like on the Zoom call alone, we're trying to see, can they operate Zoom? Yeah. If it's really bad, like we used to let people in and be like, they'll learn. But now we've let a few people in, we're like, damn, I don't think they'll learn. Like, they're going to be lucky for us to help them do it along the way until they maybe, I don't know. Like, I'm still like, I don't know. Like, so I've thought about, I'm like, man, I'd rather them not, be in here. Like, they can join another program. Yeah. Right? Every student I have, I respect, I love, and I'm going to help them. But I'm saying I've learned from that, from just letting everyone in. I go, man, no. My team, it puts pressure on my team because they have to spend twice as long trying to explain something to someone. I'm like, on the coaching calls, when they come on and ask questions, it's like slowing down the rest of the group. And it's happened a few times, not a lot. Luckily, we don't have many people like this. And the people we do, we're giving them personal help. We coach them one-on-one to learn, because everyone learns at some point. But I'm saying you have to know who you want. So the first way to look at this is, like I'm just really strict with who I let in. I really don't want anyone. I don't care if they could pay for the program. That you get to a point, if you're at a point now, Steven, and anyone else watching, if you're at a point where you're just starting out, you might still be in the area of disbelief that you'll get a lot of people paying you for your program. Once you get past that and you start getting a lot of people consistently paying you for your program, it has nothing to do with now whether or not can you make money. So the money goes out of the way. Now you're thinking quality. Yeah. It's not quantity of sales, it's quality of sales. It's like we know we can consistently generate 10, 20, 30 clients a month. Like we know that. So we're like, that's a lot of money. So the money's not an issue anymore. So we go, man, I'm willing to make less money but have higher quality people in the group. Yeah. Because the peace of mind over the period of a year or 6 months or how long they're with us, that's more costly to me if I lose it than if I lost the money. Absolutely. So you got to kind of prioritize your experience with the client when you choose who you're selling. Okay, that's one way to look at it. It's a smarter way to look at it because you're proactively not letting people. There's one person, me and her don't know who she is. One person at one point I had a feeling I'm like, I probably shouldn't sell this person. And And some things, I mean, I'm like, you know what? They were really convincing. They were like, this is meant to be, and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, okay, I'll give them a chance. They turn out to be a nightmare, like, from hell. And 2 months, after 2 months of, like pretty much kicking them out, but it was just a difficult way to kick them out. I made a promise to her. I'm like, yeah, we're going to make, like, a warning definition of, like, a person like this. Like, never let people like this in our program. Nothing against the person. It's just, I have nothing against the human being. I understand why, actually, they were like this.
Yes.
They had a lot of problems in life. But it's not a charity we're running. We're running a business. So the business has to stay healthy, both sanity and physically. So money's not the only thing that count there. There, I'm like, maybe there's something else for this person that they could have joined that's better for them. Maybe this is the wrong time for them. That's why they were being this way. But whatever it is, they weren't a fit. Whatever the reason was. Not because they're bad people, but it's something I try to overlook, and I'm like, it's okay.
Yeah.
And it's funny because it cost me more money over time anyways. Trying to sell the person who wasn't a fit cost me more money.
Yeah.
Because we had to go through a whole, like, process of giving their money back, and that cost more money, more time, her time. I'm like, man, I lost money on this transaction, and all I'm trying to do is let the person give the person a chance.
Yeah.
So learn from my mistake. Do not let people who aren't fit into the program. I know you're going to be tempted at first when you're just starting out, maybe when you're not making more than 10 or 20 grand a month consistently, you're going to be tempted to keep closing more people if they're willing to pay you. But you're going to learn very quickly. The moment you have the first bad fit person, like you're probably facing now with egos, as an example of one of them or both of them have bad egos, like bad personalities, you're going to learn very quickly it has nothing to, like, you don't care about the money more than you do about your experience. Because if you hate getting on the call because they're there, you're just killing yourself. It doesn't matter how much money you got. If you're unhappy, you're screwed. That's one way to look at it. Proactively filtering those people out. The other way to look at it is this. Let's say they're in, okay? Let's say they are in. I mean, I have people in my program, like, I love them. I love every single one of them. You know, but everyone has different egos and personalities. So to me, I'm like, okay, some people just, I have to have a different approach with coaching them. And it's funny because you're a coach, you would assume your clients will come in and just put their head down and listen, right? You would assume they paid you to learn, to listen. Why would they pay you to fight with you? It makes no sense, right? With you, okay? Now I know it's probably saying there's two egos clashing. It's not with them.
Yeah.
So I'm just giving you an example of people like this, yeah? But it's not the truth. You know, people come in and they still have closed minds. They still have egos. They still are stuck in old patterns. That's the point, though. Isn't the goal for us to be here to help them? I remember one time I was talking to one of my mentors, and this was like years ago, and I'm like looking at him, I'm like, man, I'm so pissed. There's this person. I sold this $10,000 offer to work with me. It was a while back, one-on-one. And I'm like, this person signed up for it, and I just really didn't want to work with them, but they were so persistent. They're like, this is like, I'm going to do this. I want to do it. And they paid in full, and I'm like, maybe I'll give them a chance. And I remember I was like going through it, and I knew it felt wrong. I'm like, this is not a fit. Like, their thinking's wrong. My thing, like, it's not going to work. And sure enough, within a few sessions in, a few months in, they try to back out. And we have a no refund policy in our company. So I'm saying to them, I'm like, the money already came in. We used it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I'm like, but I knew it shouldn't have happened. And so I'm saying to them, a while back, and I was complaining to my mentor. And I'm like, man, this person makes me uncomfortable. Like, I don't like coaching them. Like, they're really insecure. They're this way, they're that. I started complaining about it. And he looks at me, he goes, isn't that why he's your client? Because he needs your help? I'm like, oh, I got to be right, man. So for a moment, I'm like, you're right. I mean, they have problems. That's the reason why I'm coaching them. I mean, I can't complain that they have problems if that's what they paid me to help them with. The kicker was, though, they paid me for something other than actual life coaching. Yeah. So I wasn't really earning the right with them to coach them on life, even though they needed it, and they wanted me for help for other things. And I'm like, sure, but like their personality was an issue, not their skill set here. So that's really what my mentor didn't understand. But what he said made sense to me. I'm like, man, we have to expect that our clients are going to have hard things about their personality in their life. That's the reason why we're here to help them. And if it triggers us, that means we still need to coach. Right? Ooh. So I did. I got coaching around that time, and I learned to look at it differently. And, me and them, we split ways peacefully. We figured out a way for it to work. But like I said, time and time again, I learned my lesson from letting the wrong people in. This is really where you got to focus on. Stop letting them in. Now, let's say they're in the program, okay? Maybe they're not clashing with you, they're clashing with each other. First of all, if it's a group program and clashing with each other, that is so normal. Like, you know how many 3-day seminars I've taught, Think and Grow Rich with the president, Reborn for myself, Elite Speakers Academy when I taught public speaking? You know how many times we had students argue with each other in front of us? Multiple times. We just watch. See, your problem is you think you have to do something about it. No, you don't. They're all grown adults. What does that have to do with you? You get what I'm saying? Like, I remember one time we sat there, and I'm going to show you how to neutralize it, by the way, in a group call. I actually will show you how to neutralize it, because luckily I used to run seminars, so I was in a room with these people in real person, not over a Zoom call, and I learned how to, like, neutralize things and move on, right? But you can't stop it from happening. Like, people have egos. You can really minimize it by not letting bad fit people in. You can. But they're going to sneak in somehow sometimes. Maybe they're really good actors and you never knew it, you know? And then they come in and be like, what the hell is this nightmare?
Yeah.
So I would sit down in Think and Go Rich seminars teaching with Satish. And we'd have like someone go, well, my goal is this or something. And, you know, we were very open in this. It was like a group coaching program. It's like no different than one of seminars, a group coaching program.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
Because especially the way we did Think and Go Rich, because we would learn a lesson and then everyone would just talk about it.
Yeah.
So it was really cool. It's like a mastermind almost. We just sit down and talk. It was very different than a normal seminar.
Yes.
And that's why I love the Think and Go Rich seminars, the way Satish used to run them, president of Think and Go Rich. So we sit there and someone would clash with someone else's opinion. And we just sit there and watch. And we would have self-control. So as the facilitators, we'd watch. The coaches, we'd just sit and watch. And they would, one person would be like, yeah, but I don't believe that at all. And the other person would be like, well, what about this? And then they're like, blah, blah, blah. And we all just listen. We always give them the respectful time for them to figure it out if they can.
Yeah.
If they can't figure it out, figure it out. Okay, that's first step. Let them figure it out first. What did they do?
Yeah.
So if their egos are clashing, yeah? And then we would just tune in, like, we'd wait for it to, like, be the right time. And what I would do is I would just jump in real quick and be like, yeah, so quick question. And I would break the pattern by asking a question. I'd be like, and then I would ask the rest of the group, not even them. I'd be like, so how many of you relate, by the way, to one of their points? Mm-hmm. So I'm giving you a technique right now. This is a way to break patterns, okay? In audiences. So when you're doing group coaching, like I do as well every week, we have multiple live coaching calls with our students. So, but the thing is with me, they come on one-on-one. They can't clash with each other. That's the thing, okay? So it's like one-on-one coaching, each person. Mm-hmm. I don't do like a live Zoom, everyone looks at each other. No, I don't do that at all. So that's another way to avoid it if you're online, okay? Just make it a webinar instead of a Zoom meeting and just everyone doesn't even know who's on unless they chat.
Yeah.
Okay, so no one then has the opportunity to. But they might clash with you. That's why I have that experience sometimes. But in a room or a live group coaching, everyone's talking. They're all seeing each other. Okay.
Yeah.
So they'd be fighting or whatever, and you could tell like they're probably both wrong or both right. Who knows? I'd walk in and be like, so quick question. How many of you guys in this room or in the group can relate to one or more of the opinions here? And they will all be like, yeah. And you neutralize it because everyone, they feel good now. They're like, yeah, I'm right.
They're validated.
Then I just change the focus. And all I do is I relate it to a positive frame. Like I positively frame what just happened to something beneficial. So I just be like, yeah, so what we can learn from this conversation right now is that there's always two sides to everything. I'm just making this up. Two sides to everything. And so isn't it really our goal here to learn how to cooperate then with those two sides, understanding it? And everyone just like, yeah. And I'm like, all right, awesome. So you guys ready to continue? And I just move on. That's literally what we did. How many dozens of 3-day seminars I've done?
Many.
Dozens, hundreds of days of seminars.
Yeah.
And that was always the trick. I would just agree, come in, I'd ask a question, relate it to the audience. Audience will agree, and they go, okay, yeah. And then I'd be like, and frame it positively.
Yeah.
Now, one time in my seminar, I had an ego clash with me. It's no different than two egos clashing, but I'm telling you how positive framing is the secret here for neutralizing a group or two people with each other. Positive framing. It's your job as a coach, as a facilitator of your course, of your program. One, I told a story once, and I had mentioned that like the person in the story was Jewish, and this person got seriously offended. Okay, I didn't even notice she got offended. Like I had actually no idea. I was harmlessly telling a story, but in the story, the Jewish person was like being really mean to my dad, and that was just the truth. Like that's what happened, and they happened to be Jewish. I wasn't being like what is it called? Not racist. Stereotypical. Like, but that's what she thought, and she was being so offended. She walks out of the room. I didn't even notice, and then later on, I realized she walked out of the room. I'm like, what happened? And then my team came up like, yo, she tried to leave. She was pissed. She was like gonna go write bad reviews, and we stopped her, we helped her, blah, blah, we brought her back. I'm like, I didn't even notice. Bring her back, let me talk to her. She goes back in the room and grabs a mic from my staff. Standing in the back of the room, there's 50 people in front of us in the seminar. Everyone paid $2,000 to be there. Some families, there's Jewish families there. It's like a wide variety. There's Muslims, there's everyone types of people there. I'm on stage in this coaching program we're running. There's a public speaking one. She grabs the mic. She goes, I have a question. And I'm like, yeah, sure. I was so like innocent. I'm like, yeah, what's going on? She'd be like, is it very important? See, this is just ego clashing. Is it very important that you have to mention the person's Jewish? It was so important that you had to say, because I am a Jewish, and we are not like that. And I'm just sitting there looking at her, like, for a moment, she was like, "Ah, ah," and I was like, da 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 da, in my mind, da 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 da. And she's like, "Ah, ah," and I'm like neutralizing myself. I'm like, I can't respond egotistically. Not only is it a bad example to the audience of what leadership looks like, but it won't help her. So I just calmed down. I'm just looking at her because I know she's like misinterpreting what I did. She's misunderstanding. Now she's on the line. She's like, "You that is racist and stereotypical. I'm so appalled that you're on a stage." And like I'm like, "So what's your question?" I swear to God, she vents out because she's like, "I have a question."
Yeah.
I'm like, literally, it all finished. I disacknowledge all of it because if you add more fuel to the fire, it's gonna get worse. And I'm just like, "So what's your question?" She goes, "My question is, was it necessary for you to mention the person's Jewish?" I'm like, "No. I didn't have to.
Yeah.
I didn't even notice I did." And I calmed it down and balanced it out. She goes, "Well," and I'm like, "Are you upset?" She's like, "No, I'm not." I'm like, "Okay. Well, if you give me the opportunity, I'd love to apologize. I didn't think you would take it like this. I didn't know." So I neutralize, eh? See, my ego would be like, here's why you're wrong. But don't do that. As a coach in your program, if two people are like this, like you got to come in as like, you're both right. If they do with you, you're right. You have to neutralize people by agreeing with them. Or else their egos will be way too stiff for them to open up to actually resolve it with you. So long story short, with this person, I turned it around so well. I framed it positively, and I said, "You know what? Let's give her a round of applause for the courage she had to speak her truth." Everyone's clapping for her. Now she's like, "Shit," like she came in hoping to make me like this demonize me, but I turned into like this hero because I'm like praising her. So I'm sitting there and I'm like, "Let me ask you a question." I'm like, there's an emotion you're feeling right now, right? And here's the thing. Here's what I shouldn't have done. I actually asked the audience. I'm like, "Was anyone else offended from the story?" No one put their hands up. And she was like all alone. I'm like, I shouldn't have done that because now she feels alone. Yeah. She's like, wow. And I'm like, there's a whole Jewish family sitting here. I'm like, "You guys are Jewish, right?" They go, yeah. And I'm like, "Did you notice I said it?" They're like, "No, we didn't notice, but like, I mean, she has a point, but we didn't really notice." And she goes, I'm like, listen, doesn't mean you're wrong. I'm just saying you're actually right. But no one else noticed. So it's okay that you noticed it. But can we put it aside and notice that it's just two people here. We're just trying to make this work. She goes, "Do you want a hug?" And I'm like, "Sure." And she came and hugged me and like everyone clapped and I neutralized it. It was a little bit deeper than that. We talked more. I did a lot of like coaching
stuff. He did some stuff.
I did some stuff like to make, to neutralize her. But my point is, I framed it to a positive benefit. I held her next to me now and I looked at the audience. I'm like, we can learn something from her. That in a world where it's so scary to say, even to be who you are, just to say what you want to say, let alone say it in front of an audience, like against the person who's saying it. I'm like, we've learned that it takes courage to speak what you believe in. And so you've actually been a great example to us today. Thank you so much. And everyone just clapped. And she was like, and she came after me after that at the break. And she goes, "That was quite a show we put on." I'm like, what? Because she was laughing about it. She's like happy about it now. So it's quite a show we put on. I'm like, well, I mean, you're the star. She goes, "I have to say, I've grown immense respect for you because of how you responded. I thought you were gonna fight me." I'm like, there's no point in that.
Yeah.
People with egos, man, all it is deep inside they're just all afraid. They're all just really insecure. That's why they clash with others. So I hope this helped. I know I kind of went around, like I gave you multiple perspectives of different scenarios of egos clashing. Yeah. One with yourself, one with people on a sales call, one with people together. Yeah. All I know is this. The goal for us is to neutralize. The way you do that is, man, making everyone right. Because egos just want to be right or else they die. If they're wrong, it's like the end of their life. That's what an ego is like. Not the person, the ego is like that. So that's why they got to fight for it. Even if they're wrong and they know it now, they'll still pretend like they don't. Yeah. They're like, "No, I'm right."
Fight is the most
Every mother ever who ever lived. They know they're wrong. No, I'm right. I'm like, "Are you sure?" Yeah. What do you want for dinner anyways? And change the subject. Okay. So reread the question one more time. I want to make sure I answered it nice.
Yeah. I have a group coaching program. If I have a couple of egos clashing within my community, what should I do? Separate them from everyone and do one-on-one?
No, never.
Steven.
Yeah, so last thing I'll add on this. Don't ever adjust yourself. Like adjust your integrity of how your business is running and everything to accommodate a few people in your program. You know how crazy that sounds? Do you know how crazy that sounds? How the hell are you going to scale a business like that? You got to get better at finding the right people that fit into the system than trying to change the system every time something goes kind of wrong. No, man. Can't do that. So, by the way, the best thing you can do if it's in a group setting where like people are just kind of clashing, and I don't even know what that means, by the way. I wish the person was here so you can explain to me what does clashing mean. Some of you guys who are watching the recording right now or are live, I want you to understand something. If you're on the show live, you would have a much better experience of me answering because I can ask questions of you, then to be real coaching, because then I would understand your situation. And for the ones who are asking questions, give more context so we understand. Then I can actually answer better instead of generically, because I'm doing my best to answer, but I don't even know what that means. What if it's just two people argued for a moment and you moved on? I'm like, it's not a big deal, move on. What if they're like two people for sure, they're like, I'm not going to be in this program anymore? I'm like, well, that's different. Generally, when two egos are clashing, almost disacknowledge, it doesn't matter. Neutralize it, make everyone learn from it, and move on. That's it. Yeah, that's my answer.
Cool. One thing that I want you to, pay attention to, Stephen, with everything that Armin said is, as soon as you get to the point where your peace of mind is being compromised, you have to make a change. Whether they are in the program or otherwise, if things are happening and your peace of mind is being affected, you delivering the program is being affected by the energy of other people. You just need to do some extra work. So whether that is, like Armin said, going to a mentor to ask them, like, hey, like, is this okay? Is this normal? Is this great? Like, you're asking on the show right now, which is awesome. Apart from that, with the students themselves, you got to give them the space, if possible, to be adults and work it out, right? If it's not possible for you to do that, by all means, you can take necessary action like Armin just described. But I think the key thing here, like with what you got going on and how you want to deal with the situation, is ask yourself, like, do I have peace of mind if I do A and B? Do I have peace of mind if I do this? Yeah. Like, is their egos clashing going to cause me to have anxiety while I'm on a coaching call or whatever that may be?
Do you get uncomfortable when you think about going on the next coaching call and they're there?
That's
a big sign you should get rid of them.
Do what you got to do, right?
Be okay with refunding the money, just leave it, let them go.
Yeah, yes.
And that's less costly to you in money than it is in time and like your peace of mind.
Yeah, and that's something that, we don't deal with often. I would say we don't deal with often just because, like Armin said, we really do, like, what's the word I'm thinking of? Qualify all of our prospects, all of our leads, the people in our program. But, once in a blue moon, if you will, we do have to make necessary decisions to either, tell people they can no longer be in the course, they can't participate in this, or whatever that may be. But those are the questions that we ask ourselves: is our peace of mind going to be affected by this person in the program? Are they going to be a headache later? Is this going to cause us more issues later? Is this gonna ruin our harmony as a team, as a collective, as the group? Is it going to affect the energy in our community? These are very necessary questions that you need to ask yourself, especially in relation to this person, because one person can go very quickly. Yeah. if it's gonna save the longevity of your course or your program long term, don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to snip. Okay.
Your biggest threat when you're growing your business, like you get more clients in, your program's going to become more popular. Your biggest threat is keeping bad people, retaining bad people in the program. They'll ruin the experience. Same with the team. The more you grow a company, you have one bad egg, rottens the other eggs. You have to protect your culture and your team and your program. You got to be ruthless in a sense. But you can do it in a gentle way. You don't have to be a bad person to them, but just make it clear it's not acceptable. You must tolerate less as you grow. If you tolerate more as you grow, you will get brought down. But if you tolerate less when you're growing, you have less room for issues like this. Mm-hmm. I was talking to one of my students, and they did like, we were talking a few weeks ago, and they're doing good in the program. They just crossed the 20K mark. They'd never have done coaching, never been online, nothing. They took our system from scratch. They're, I think, at like close to 25 now in sales, 25,000 with the program. And we were talking a few weeks ago, and I told them, I'm like, man, I've learned so much from having bad fit people join the program and like having to get rid of them. I'm like, it's almost like God's trying to tell me, like, just trust me. When you do the right thing, disposing of the people that shouldn't be there, like they have somewhere else. They're not bad people. They have somewhere else that they can fit into, just not with us, right? I mean, at the end of the day, I'm gonna just say it the way it is. There are negative people and positive people. That's not like I don't have to sugarcoat that. There are negative-minded people, negative attitude people. And there's positive attitude people. That's a bad fit for everybody. I don't know if there's a place for negative-minded people. So if you're one or you know one, get rid of them or change it, because there's no place for a negative person, okay? Unless it's amongst other negative people who are doing nothing. So yes, part of it is that you have a positive mental attitude. You have a good attitude. You're a good person. You don't add stress to people's lives. You take it away because you're a good person. We get rid of those people quick. The moment I see a sign, I'm like, ugh, forget about coachable. You are toxic. And until that gets, and you need a life coach before you need a business coach. That's what I'm trying to say. So if they came to me in like another course where I'm teaching like how to change your life, sure, I wouldn't dispose of them because I'm like, you're here for help. But if you're buying a marketing program to build a business and you have a bad attitude, do not come here yet. Go and fix yourself, because I don't even believe you should have clients. That's how deep I go. I don't believe you should have clients because you're going to ruin their life. So I was telling one of my students, and I was telling them, every time I've done the right thing, and I've done it maybe 1 or 2 times, maybe 2 or 3 times this year, and you have to do it sometimes. We don't do refunds in our program. I don't do refunds for anything because I don't believe you should start something with thinking of a way out. Like, that makes no sense. If you do something, you do it. But if it reverses, like where I can't handle the person anymore, I will get rid of them. And we'll figure out a reasonable, fair way of money or whatever. Because I'm not just going to take someone's money, not give them the full thing, and leave. No. But sometimes I'll give a portion back. Sometimes I'll get it all back. I'm like, you needed more than me, man. Get out of here. Like, whatever it is, I'll do it. I'll do the right thing. Whatever feels right to me, right? But I won't do it unless I think, like, there's people that try to take advantage of that. They'll come in my program and they'll be like, yo, I really, just because they change their mind, just because, and this happened like maybe a couple times only in like years. They're like, oh, well, I just realized I don't want to do this anymore. I'm like, yeah, but like, go sign up for a lease for a house or a mortgage, and then tell the bank you realize you don't want to live there anymore. They don't care. What does that have to do with anything? Yeah. You change your mind is a you problem. I'm still here to help you with what you paid for. Now, it's different if they're coming in, they're trying to do it, but they're making everyone's life hell. That's different. I'm like, I don't want you here. You've lost the right of my coaching. Like, I don't want to help you anymore. I want someone else to help you. You need someone else, like a therapist, to help you get out of this crap you're in. Or find me somewhere else where I'm not teaching marketing, and I'll help you with your life. And the funny thing is, those people usually don't think they need that help.
Yeah.
Isn't that crazy? So, I was telling my student, and I'm like, man, I feel like every time I've done the right thing, I've been rewarded. Because the moment I get rid of someone and I give their money back or whatever, I'm like, just go. Like, I don't want to work with you. The next week, I hit record sales. I remember the month, there was a month where there's a few like high ticket clients I had sold, and I'm like, I don't want to work with them because it's not fit. Like, it's not right. It doesn't feel right to me. I decided to give all their money back. And it was a lot of money. And I'm like, yeah, I'll pay it. I don't care. Because I'm like, I trust it's the right thing to do. If I do the right things will be done for me. Okay? I give all this money back. That was one of our highest record sales at that time.
Yeah.
I made like 4 or 5 times the money I paid back to them in sales. And I'm like, what happened? And the only thing I think about is like, I did the right thing. Yeah. And I was telling my student this, and he goes, man, that's so true, because like last week, some guy put a deposit down for my program, and I told him it's not refundable. Because, you know, he's selling his program now. He goes, and he followed up with me like 5 days later, even though I said that to him, he asked for it back. He was going to quit, and I was like, you know, and he's like, I knew inside, like, it wasn't really a good fit, like, I just wanted to give him a chance. I'm like, I was trying to teach him this. And he goes, so I just gave his money back, I didn't care. And he's like, the next 3 days, I did $7,000 in sales. And I'm like, first of all, congrats. Post that shit in the group. Second of all, I'm like, that's awesome. You get the point. So one of my students, like, they're like, I gave the money back. And I made $7,000 in sales. And, it's like, and I didn't even do, like, I've been doing the same thing, so what changed? And now all I can think about is I did the right thing. So it's the kind of culture I have at NSGC in our team, like, do the right thing, even when no one's watching. And you'll always be taken care of, you know? So to me, it's like, it's okay sometimes to let these people go, man. Like, it's okay. There is an illusion that you think you're losing money. You're actually making a lot of money. Because not only are you keeping your sanity and your students, right, from them wanting to leave because this person's creating ruckus, but also you're opening up the door. It's like the law of, you know how space works? It works like a vacuum. Like a dark hole. A black hole, it sucks things in because it's trying to fill itself, the void. So every time you let go of something, something new fills its spot. So if you keep it on to bad people in your program, you're taking up the space that a good person could take. So if you let go of them, you open up this vacuum. The vacuum will suck a good person in. It's a crazy story I remember hearing one time. There was this old couple living in a house, and the husband, like, was super, like, nonchalant, didn't care about anything, but the wife's like, man, I want to get rid of these curtains. These curtains are so ugly. I've always wanted to get rid of them. I hate these curtains. And he goes, I mean, like, we can't really afford it. She goes, I don't care. Like, I don't want them anymore. So she rips them down, throws them on the street, okay, for it to be taken away. And 2 days later, husband comes home, it's brand new curtains. He's like, where'd you get this from? She's like, you won't even believe it. I was at work, and I was talking to a friend, and I overheard someone saying they're getting rid of their curtains because they're moving to another country. They can't take it with them. There's no space. So I went over and I asked if I could have them. They go, yeah, for free. I'm like, what? He goes, for free? These look like $500 curtains. They're really expensive. Like, look at the quality of it. How did that happen? He goes, I don't know. Like, I really hate this couch. I don't want this couch anymore. I want to get rid of it. And he goes, no, don't be crazy. Now, couches are $1,000. You can't afford that. She goes, I don't care. I don't care. She pulls it out. It's in front of the street. Gets rid of it. Now they have no couch. The guy's sitting on the floor watching TV for 3 days. 3 days later, comes home, brand new couch in the living room. These guys don't make money to buy furniture, guys. The husband comes, oh, what the hell happened? She goes, you won't even believe it. I was driving by the street. I saw a garage sale with the perfect couch. So I walked up and I asked how much. And they said, you know what? We're about to finish off. Anyways, just take it. We don't need it. And she goes, oh my God. Okay, thanks. And she hired a mover, got it, and brought it into the house. He goes, how are you doing this? She goes, I don't know, but I've been thinking about getting rid of you for a long time. So she put her husband on the street. Moral of the story is, when you get rid of the thing you have that you don't want, you make space for the thing you want to show up.
Love it. What a great story. I'm stealing that one. I'm taking that one from you. We got some questions from Facebook, actually, from Oscar, my man Oscar.
What's up, my man?
Okay, Oscar says, I received an email today on focusing on one goal this year. Does that mean only one goal?
Oh, that was our email.
Yeah, one goal for every area of your life? Or just one goal?
Yeah, good question, actually. I did a whole deep dive yesterday. I planned out my 4 quarters for next year, and it's funny because I was with a friend of mine, and he sat down and he made this list. Like, even Cute Puppy, you won't believe it. Cute Puppy was on the list.
Cute puppy?
Cute Puppy, I'm going to get a Cute Puppy this year. I'm like,
Aww.
and you ain't getting...
So is my hairless cat. My hairless cat's on my
So
list.
he makes this large list. It's like my year, and then I put next to it on the whiteboard because I was at his place. We were just hanging out. I put my thing. He put like all these things. I'm gonna go on vacation. I'm gonna do just all these goals, and I put down make this much money, like get to this point in my business. And I'm like, I only put 4 sub points under it of what I need to do to make that thing happen. And he looked at his. I looked at his list. He looked at mine. Now I make a lot more money than him. So when we were talking, he's open-minded to hearing like different perspectives because he wants to learn from me. And he's like a form of like a really one of my close friends, and like we mastermind together. Yeah, this is because it's Monday.
Yeah.
I think so.
We just lost our lights.
Yeah. No, it's
Let
alright.
the lights.
The generator goes out.
Let the music move.
Does it still look good though?
Still was good.
Okay. So we're talking, and I looked at him. I'm like, notice something different from your list and my list? And he goes, well, I mean, yeah, I got a lot more stuff on it. I'm like, do you know why? He goes, why? I go, because what you have on your list aren't goals. They're like desires, things that you want, stuff. I want this. I want to do that. These aren't goals. They are byproducts of a goal. And he goes, what do you mean? I'm like, well, look at my list. It's one thing. The whole year I'm focused on one milestone. And all I'm going to do is everything possible to make that milestone happen. If that happens, I know I could have all the cute puppies and vacations I want. He goes, so I did this wrong. I'm like, well, no, but most people do lists like this. I'm like, back when I was starting out, I didn't have a lot of money, like I didn't have much training. I used to set goals like this. I would make a list, like a bucket list of things I want. Okay? I'm like, but I really didn't get much done back then. I didn't know. I was really just splitting my focus, not filling my mind with concentration. You can't concentrate on this list, bro. When you look at it, you feel overwhelmed. There's too many things happening. And they're all different things, like cute puppy, vacation, my business, this. I'm like, you're not focused. So but look at mine. I know if I hit that milestone in my business, I can do anything I want. And you know what the irony is, man? He goes, what? I go, you got a lot of stuff in your list. It looks like you got more stuff than me, right? But technically, by the end of the year, I'll probably have more stuff than you. You know why? Because ironically, when you set only one major goal to focus on, you get it done much faster than the person who sets 7 major goals.
Yeah.
So I'll actually get it done faster, and by the time, let's say, instead of taking me the year, it took me 4 months, at the 4-month mark, I could just set a whole new major goal and get that done. So by the end of the year, I could do 3 big major goals because I focused one at a time, one thing at a time, while the other person is still trying to manage all 7. Hasn't even got one done yet. It's an illusion, productivity. Talk about it. People think productivity is doing more stuff. It's doing less, but one thing at a time. That's all it is. It's about doing one thing at a time. That's the secret to being super productive, is getting a lot done. And focus. You cannot concentrate on multiple things. By default, your brain can only concentrate on one thing at a time. Why would you think you could do more? Have you ever tried to do two things at once, like in your mind? No, you can't. Right now, try to think about an elephant while try to think about a multiplication question. You can't. It's one or the other. Switches back and forth, back and forth, back and forth.
My brain.
So what happens is that's what you do when you set multiple goals. Now here's the trick to it. So we flip the whiteboard around and we set up our Q1, Q2, Q3, Q4. And I said I only have one goal. And I only know 4 major projects I have to complete to get these goals. I said by the first quarter I want to get this major project done. Then by the second quarter, this major project. And I'll know by then I'll probably hit this big goal. So by then I want to do this major project, this major project. My entire year is comprised of 4 major projects and 1 major goal. That's it. That, you know how easy it is to think about that? I go, yeah, it's easy. Whereas he was trying to do his Q1, Q2, Q3, and then we were like writing it out, you know? And he had like 7 things in Q1 and like 4 things, and it's all random stuff. And I'm like, that's not a year plan, man. Mm-hmm. That's a distraction plan. Zoom in on my face. So I told him, like, man, this is really simple to fix. What is the big domino goal? That if you hit that, it hits every domino. What's your big domino goal? And he goes, well, if I hit this much in sales in my company, I could do all these other things. I go, great. What do you need to do to make that happen? And we listed out like a few things.
Yeah.
He had to double his prices. I helped him with that. I spent 2 hours convincing this guy why he shouldn't be charging that much, why he should charge more. And I took him out of it. I'm like, bro, people pay a lot of money for this coaching, so make sure go do it, okay? So he's going to do that. So now his goal seemed way more realistic. He wanted to make about $500,000 next year. And so I'm like, what else you got to do? He's like, well, I got to finish this thing in the business. I also got to finish this. But he's like, bro, I have a girlfriend, you know? I'm like, yeah, it's a part of your goal. But that shouldn't be in your concentration. Concentration is when you produce. When you snap out of production, the rest of your life is still here. And those things you can still do. But you don't set a goal on it. You don't set a goal to go on vacation. That makes no sense. You get what I'm saying? It's like setting a goal to have fun on the road trip to the destination you're going to. That's not a goal. It's a byproduct of the goal. If you're going somewhere, you have fun in the car anyways. Mm-hmm. So if you're building your business or growing or achieving or going towards this big major goal that's your dream, you're going to have all the other stuff along the way anyways. You're still going to have time to spend time with your family. You're going to be able to do all the things. Because if you're really focused on that, it's going to afford you the ability to do those things. But if you're trying to do all of it, not knowing how to set a goal, you're going to be distracted and never get anything done. So we erased this whole list and we started with 1 major goal. I'm like, what are the major things in your business that will help you do this? Now, here's the thing. I was talking to him about things he wants that money could buy. Very rarely will you have someone that like doesn't need money goals, but most of the time I realize when you set a money goal to make a certain amount of income, it usually is the big domino for other things. It really is. Like, this is biased. I'm not saying every time. There's some people that has nothing to do with money. It's more of a relationship goal. The money doesn't mean anything. But if you're broke or you're in a job that you don't like, that's first of all makes you unattractive because you're unhappy. Second of all, you don't have enough money to even go on dates if you found a boyfriend or girlfriend. So my point is, if you guys are going to set goals, the rule of thumb is always set it around income that can buy you the affordability to do all the other stuff. But don't set your benefits as a goal. Mm-hmm. Like a benefit of making $500,000 for him would have been to go on vacation twice and buy a cute puppy and do this. And I'm like, that's the benefits, but that's not a goal. So put that on your list. Yeah. You know how you set a goal? Ready, watch this. I'm going to give you a system right now. I actually give this in SGC. It's in our Trello organizer. Every student that comes in our program, we give them this SGC organizer. So like every module is laid out in Trello cards and like they have an entire organizer planner to go through the program. The first one is setting a goal. Here's how we do it. You set 1 major goal for the year. Or 6 months, or whatever, like by a certain amount of time. Give yourself at least 6 months to do something. You know, it's enough time for you to go through up and down to learn. A year is a good, like healthy, time span. You set 1 major goal, and then there's a statement we give them to read every single day to themselves. That's in the program. Then underneath the goal, you make the longest list possible of all the reasons you need to achieve it. So what he was doing is he had this goal, but then he had all these reasons, and he thought they were goals. I'm like, those aren't goals. Those are reasons. But don't fill your mind with the reasons. Mm-hmm. You know the reasons. You think about them for a split second a day, and you go, that's why I'm doing this. But you should be concentrating your mind on the goal 24/7 while you work. And another thing, when you're setting a goal and you're thinking about what you got to do to get the goal achieved, most people just put a bunch of things they think they need to do. It's a big mistake. I should write a book. I should do this. I should go here. I should buy that. I should finish this. I'm like, no, relax. Question is this, very simple. To achieve this goal, what is the absolute necessary thing you need to do first? Oh, I need to finish this in the business. Okay, that's your first thing. That's your first milestone. Yeah. What's the next thing after that? Not what you think will work. Because this person's like, I want to go on podcasts. I want to get a lot of exposure. I'm like, hold on. Why? Well, because I'm going to grow my influence. Why do you want influence? Well, because people will know my name. Or why would they know you? Well, obviously they'll become a customer in my program. Okay. So now the question is, that's really what you want. You just think a podcast is going to get you there. So my question is, what do you know will get you there faster? Not think. Obviously, if I focus more on hiring a salesperson. Okay. That should be your second milestone. See, a lot of us, we build our game plans out around things we think we need. And then we run around circles or putting energy and effort into things that actually we have no guarantee it's productive at all. Productivity, okay, is the definition of it when it comes to a goal, is to do things that will get you to your goal the fastest. So, usually it's not a lot of things. If you have a long list, you're doing it wrong. Yeah. It has to be short, like less than 5 things. What goal possibly takes more than 3 to 5 major tasks or projects to achieve? Nothing. Chunk it down. The less you see on your list, the more of a chance you'll actually get it done, actually. The longer the list, more of a chance you won't. So, I hope that answers your question in terms of setting a goal. Here's the thing. For my business, here's what I did. I just put the money, knowing that is going to get a lot of other things done because I know about it. And I wrote the reasons down. What I'll do for my team, what I'll do for my clients, what I'll do for me. On a personal level, though, I am also, there's like 2 or 3 major goals I have with my body and with my level of expertise, like my personal growth. Sure, you can set those as well. But if you're going to focus your mind on one thing, make sure it's the thing that will get you the other things. For example, I know for me to earn the kind of money I want to do in my business, I can't be unhealthy. I can't afford it because I'll be drowsy. I'll be lethargic. I will feel shit about myself if I don't feel fit. So I'm like, the default milestone of the big domino goal is to stay healthy. Yep. So I don't need to make my goal to get fit when I know if I got to do that in my business, I have to get fit. Yep. Now, I don't have to, but I know from my personal life, I don't perform well when I don't feel good. So you see what I'm saying? I'm focusing on the biggest domino that will knock everything else down. Big domino goal setting. I just made this up on the spot. We should probably call it that.
Big domino goal setting?
Yeah. The big domino goal. You know, like what's the big domino goal? And so when you do that, everything else is easy. So now my friend looked at me and goes, but what about all the stuff I want? I'm like, yeah, bro, that should go like on a vision board. Not on your game plan for the year. It's your vision board. Like you put a bunch of pictures down and write down what you want. I have that at home. I have this vision board of like all the things I want. You know, and a year, and it's like 3 or 4 things, major goals. Like, but they're like the things I want.
Yes.
And I look at it every day. But it's not what my focus is on. My focus is on working towards that one big domino goal that would knock everything else down. Right? It could be different for everyone. For someone, it could be their health because they've been overweight their whole life. Now they're like, this year I will achieve the greatest body. Now what's going to happen? They know that in order to do that, they have to have money. So now they're going to go, I got to make sure I make money too. It's part of the milestone. I got to hit a certain level of income to afford the nutrients, the personal trainer, the supplements. You see what I'm saying? So whatever for you is that domino is different for everyone. For me, it's the money because I know that's easier for me to focus on and go, I'm going to get fit while I do it because that is a part of me being a good business owner, being a good coach because I'm living it. But it's not the reverse for me because my big problem is not my health. It's, you know, it's not really a problem. But like my big thing is the business. So here's another way to look at it. You can choose the biggest problem you want to solve in your life and make that the major big domino goal. Because if you fix that, it'll fix everything. So it's a reverse of looking at it. Instead of a desire, it's more of a problem you want to fix. Yeah. So I guess if someone's really overweight, they can make their entire year become obsessed with growing, getting fit. Now they go, okay, I got to hit milestones. I got to lose this much by this much, quarter one. Okay, cool. But now what's the default of that? Now when they feel better, do you not think they'll make more money? Do you not think they'll be better at work? Do you not think they'll be better with relationships? So all the other desires they have, it'll come to them. You get what I'm saying? So kind of wrap it all up into one big snowball so that when you throw it down the hill, it captures everything. But do not make a list of multiple small things because you will never get it done. Okay? Your life shouldn't be a list of tasks. It's a wrong way to look at it. It should be a destination you're driving towards. It's a really fun destination. Like you're driving to Disneyland and you're excited about it. Because when you get there, it's going to be huge amount of fun. And the process is you're going to have to stop at the gas station. You're going to have to stop to go to the washroom. These are all things you do along the way. So set your goal. Where do you want to go? What's your Disneyland? And when you get there, you're like, oh my God, I'm going to have the best time ever. Yeah. Make that your goal for the year. And then know that the process, not the goals, the process will be to do all these small things to get there.
Absolutely.
One last way to look at it is think of it like it's your chief aim. Like it's your major chief aim. And then you have your next logical step right now. What's the next logical step right now? You give like, what do I do right now that's logical that's going to take me towards the goal? And then when you get there, you're going to have the next logical step and that becomes your list of projects to do. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
This chief aim, next logical step. What was it before that?
Nothing.
Yeah, it was.
No.
Oh, really? Okay, cool. Yeah, you're right. It's where you are now.
Yeah.
Next logical step. Now, here's the trick. You know when you know how to know when you're actually moving towards your goal and it's happening? When your chief aim becomes your next logical step. So deep. I'll give you an example. I learned this years ago.
Long time.
Let's say my chief aim is to make $100,000 in a year. It's actually when, at that time, that's where I was at. I wanted to make $100,000 when I learned this. My next logical step was to do something in my business. I just started my business back then. It was like to run my seminar or something like that, right? Or to achieve, like to build something that will make me the money. Something like that. I think it was something like that. To finish my program, I think. Okay. When I got closer to finishing my program, I can now mathematically understand how I'm going to make $100,000. Because I'm like, it costs this much. I just need this many people, right? As soon as I actually knew how I'm going to make 100, because at first when you start, you don't know how you're going to do the goals usually. Like, I don't know how. So most of the time you're like, I don't even know how I'm going to do $10 million this year. Like, I don't know. But I'm going to start. And then when you start working towards it, you're like, oh, now I know how. Now I know I can mathematically create a plan because I understand how it's going to come in. So that happened to me. As soon as my next logical step was achieved, I was there. And I'm like, I know exactly how to make the $100,000. So what it felt like now was my next logical step is just to go make the 100. Because all I got to do is sell the program. So the chief aim became my next logical step. And then what happens in its place, like a vacuum, something bigger shows up. Like, what if I do $250,000 then? I mean, I don't know if this could get me to quarter, but I know it could get me to 100. Can I do a quarter? Okay. And then you start working towards the 100. And as you get closer to the 100, because I remember I closed a lot of high ticket clients, and I closed like a contract. Like I was at like $90,000 in sales. Like in 1 month, I made $20,000. I'm like, I just made $90,000 for the year because I did a contract with retainer. I'm like, I'm gonna hit my 100, but I did it within 5 months into the year. I'm like, I'm already at like a $10,000 under 100 for the year. Like if I do nothing now, I'll make about $90,000. I'm like, 100 is not enough. So what happened? The next logical step became closer. My chief aim became closer. Now I'm like, there's a big chief aim again. Next logical step is just to hit the 100. I'm gonna do a quarter. How do I do that? Yeah. And so I set that and I start working towards that. That's all it happened. That's literally how it happens. And so that's how you progress. That's how you know when your goal starts to become a step, not a goal anymore. Mm-hmm. Isn't that deep? Super deep. You set the goal, and then it becomes a step because you're like, yeah, just do it now. It should feel like that. Like it should feel like it's not a goal, it's not a dream. I'm gonna do it.
Yeah.
So it's crazy because like now it's like my chief aims are like $100,000, $250,000 months. Back then I used to be like a year. I remember I was trying to help one of my students out once, and I was like showing them the scale from going from 0 to like 100, $200,000 a month. And they're like, yo, this is a year, right? I'm like, no, a month. They go, what do you mean a month? Like, what the hell is $100,000 a year, bro? They go, wow, you just blew my mind. I'm like, you didn't even know. I was saying 100 a month. Yeah. But you know why it's easy for me to comprehend and it wasn't for him?
Yes.
Because he still had to normalize the feeling of what it's like to make 100 a month. Whereas I've spent so long now in the field of understanding online businesses, I'm like, that's easy. It's just a matter of time and the right mechanics. So you got to set your what. What do you want? Work towards that next logical step until the how becomes tangible. Now the how fuels the what again. The what gets bigger. Because you're like, I know how. But like, if I know how, why just that? Let's do this.
So basically, like, you spend your whole time setting up the machine, and then now you have the machine, then you know exactly what you need to do from there.
Yeah, and once the machine's built, It's just a matter of what targets you want to hit.
And then now it's like how efficient is the machine, right?
Yeah.
Your coaching program is very efficient.
Yeah.
You're able to do group coaching, have more people coming in.
Like we do 50 to 100,000 a month, right? So now it's not about making money anymore for us. I'm like, yeah, sure, we want to get to 250 grand a month, sure, but like that's just going to be 3 times what we're doing now in terms of volume. But now my question is not how much more money can we make, because I'm like, money is out of the question. We can make it. Now it's like, how do I make it better for the students? How can we improve the program?
Yeah.
How can my team become better at coaching? Like, I start thinking of quality now. Quantity is in the beginning because you don't have a lot of money or sales or clients. Or you just want to think about it. But when it comes in, you go, now quality. I got to get quality. How do I improve this? How do I make it actually the best program in the market? Not because we have a lot of clients, but because we have a great program. So now I'm just focused on, like, the next 5 days I'm blocking off. I didn't tell you guys. I'm blocking off the next 5 days. No, like uninterrupted isolation. I'm going to be improving the program. I don't want, and I'm canceling things. Like, cancel the masterminds today. Except the coaching calls with the students, I always do
News
those.
to me.
Coaching calls with the students, I'll do. But with everything else, cancel. I don't even get, nothing will take my time. I don't care what it is. Because I'm at a place where I don't want more sales. Like, I don't care about more sales. I care about more quality.
Yeah.
I want clients to come on our program, walk out and be like, damn, like, what a crazy program. That's what I want. I don't want it just to be another, like, how-to program. No, screw that. I'm going to make it the best. So my point is just quality, right? Now it's like, and then when you get to that, like, we'll get to 250, 300, 400, 500 grand a month. We will, whatever. Like, it's just a mathematical game, guys. When you have a system in place, automated presentation, running ads, you have a program, you have an automated coaching business, it's just a numbers game, guys. It's like a video game. You're sitting there like, okay, just more leads, more sales, whatever, right? Now the next level is, Isaiah, not about how much more money can you make. It's not a money goal anymore. Maybe it's like a figure, like I want to hit 8 figures or 9, sure. But at that point, you're just like climbing the same redundant ladder, right? It's like more money is just more money. It's not nothing. It's literally just all that is, more money.
Yeah.
I remember someone told me once, like, past 50 or 100 grand, it's literally no different, virtually no difference to the person, right? So if someone's saying like 30 grand, I don't know if that person, past 30 grand, 30 grand is not a lot, but 30 grand a month, I'm saying, is not a lot. Like, but like, say past 100,000 a month, it honestly is zero difference in your life. Like, making 200 is just another 100. Like, it's not like we all become superpowers and my hair goes gold. Like, it doesn't, nothing happens, okay? The clients don't start growing wings, you know, like, you don't go from driving a normal car to driving a Bugatti. Like, it's not, that gap is not that much, okay?
I woke up in a new Bugatti.
Yeah, like, Bugatti's about, like, $2 million, $3 million. Like, yeah, that 100,000 more is not a big difference. It's like, that's another, like, you get to that level, you're like, okay, now I'm buying houses cash. Like, you know, that's different, okay? But I'm saying, until there, everything's the same. From 100 to 200, 300, 400 a month, like, everything's the same. Yeah. So, the next level, next logical step feeling, it's not about money anymore. It's about impact. Now you're thinking, like, how do I get more out of the people here? Like, how do I give more? It's like, if you can give everything you got, you always get everything you want. So it's now that's what really lights you up. You wake up, you're like, I want to build something that changes people's lives. I want to build things. Yeah. You get addicted to building great things. You become addicted to being a leader. Not with making money, bro. Like I said, most people's problems in life is just a lack of resources. One of the major ones being money. So when that's solved, there's very little things in life holding you back. When you have money, there's very little things holding you back in life. Like, what else could possibly get in your way? Other than shitty relationships, which you can learn to fix, right? Shitty health, which you can learn to fix. What else is there possible? Even coronavirus isn't stopping us. No COVID, no pandemic. It's not like the world can stop you. But when you have no money, bro, the whole world is like a burden, you know? Because everything you want to do has a weight and a cost, and, like, it's tough. And so when you fix that problem, you fix 90% of your problems with money. 10% of them is, you know, now you're thinking like, I'm talking about physical problems in real life. I'm not talking about inside. Inside money doesn't fix anything. Outside money fixes most things. Because you could just buy, pay, whatever. Inside, money's nothing. You got to fix that first. In fact, maybe that's what you fix first. But my point, the next level becomes impact. What do you want to build? President Fingerorch one time told me, like, I told him, I'm like, I want to make $10 million, you know. This was last year. $10 million a year, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. I still think I'm going to do it, right? But he looked at me, he's like, don't set a goal to make money. He's like, set a goal to build something. I'm like, what do you mean? I'm like, isn't this how thinking George is? You got to set a goal with money. He goes, no, set a goal to build something. I'm like, what does that even mean? He goes, you're focused on making money, you'll make money. You're money conscious. He's like, now if you want to grow beyond just the money, you make more money, focus on building something that's really good. Because when you build something really good, they show up. Like, money will come. So I changed the goal. Like, I still have my money there. Like, I'm like, you know, this much money I want to make. But now part of the goal is like, I'm going to build like the greatest coaching program for this, or a business that like, I remember one affirmation I told myself specifically was, I'm going to build a company that turns necks. So people will be genuinely curious to how our company runs like this. I knew what that means inside.
Yeah.
So it might not make sense to someone listening, but I'm like, I want to build a company where the culture in the system and the people make people that see us want to come study us to understand what we're doing that's working so well. I'm like, I want to build that culture wise, not operations, like culture, people. So I'm like, that excites me. I'm like, how do I build like an Avengers team? How do I build a company that like people want to study? You know, we study like big companies. We're like, look at how Zappos did this. Look at how Facebook did this. I'm like, I want to build a company where people go, wow, this is how they do things there. We got to learn from this. See, that's such a big goal, and to me, in building it has nothing to do with money. But do I have to make a lot of money for that to be recognizable to people? Of course. And I was reading Russell Brunson's book. He's like, here's another big goal I set. Like, it's about building something, getting somewhere, not about money. Write down your dream 100. He talks about this concept a lot. Write down your dream 100 people that you would want to work with. So let's say Tony Robbins is there, right? And he's teaching everyone, like, write your dream 100 down. Write down 100 people that you want to work with, that you want to whatever. And I'm like, I remember reading it. I'm like, being a Thinking Guard student, I'm like, no, my goal is to be in people's dream 100. I remember saying that. I'm like, that's deep. I don't want to make a dream 100. I want to be a part of someone's dream 100. Top of the list. And you know where I got that? I'm like, every person who writes a Dream 100, almost always in the top 5 is Tony Robbins. This guy is everyone's Dream 100. Yeah. It doesn't even matter if you do nothing with his work. He's at the top. Oh, if I could just get Tony Robbins, I want to be in the Dream 100 of most entrepreneurs. See, when you think like that, your brain thinks bigger, right? Your mind expands and goes, well, what has to happen for me to be in everybody's Dream 100? You know, and I'm like, I would have to build such a massive company, such a beautiful culture, such a great product that it's like it's hard, it's irresistible to notice. You know, it's hard to not notice. Yeah. So it's like when they see, they're lucky if they work with you. You know what I'm saying? Think bigger, man.
Wow.
Trademarked.
Is it? Oscar finished up, just so we can wrap it up. So by the end of December 31st, 2021, I want to make $50K a month. That's a good one goal mindset. And how do I get it is getting 10K 5 sales monthly, right?
Well, no, that's not how you think about it. That's obviously the measurement, the metrics. You got to think about what has to happen in your business for you to sustain $50,000 a month. Yeah. You got to think about how many calls do I need to get, how many ads do I need to run. Can I deliver $50,000 worth of clients a month? So do I have the team for it? Do I have the salesperson for it? Is my skill set level there? You know? Those are the projects you should work on. What's the next logical thing in your business that has to happen for you to actually be able to handle $50,000 in sales? Yeah. The biggest misconception most entrepreneurs have when they're growing their business is they underestimate how much it's going to take to maintain that level of volume. They don't think about the volume. They think about the money. They think, oh, 50 grand, that'd be great. 50 grand at 5,000 means 10 brand new clients a month. Can you handle 10 brand new high ticket clients a month? Do you have the team and resources to onboard them, to teach them? Can you handle that many students on a coaching call? Is your program enough to help everybody succeed with it? Those are like logistical questions, volume questions, quality questions. Has nothing to do with quantity. So you set the 50K mark goal and go, okay, what do I have to do to get that sales? Okay, well, I need this many sales. How many calls do I need to get that many sales? Well, this many calls. How many calls do I need to get? How many opt-ins in my webinar do I need to get that many calls? Oh, this many opt-ins. How much money do I have to spend per opt-in to get that many opt-ins? Oh, this much money. How do I get that money right now to put into this? Where do I kind of start? See how I'm reverse engineering? And then you think about it. I did it with actually my friend who I was masterminding with, because he wanted to make $500,000 and he was selling a $2,500 thing. I'm like, you got to double the price minimum, bro. Because I'm like, if you're making $500,000, which is about, 50 grand a month? Yeah. It was like 40, 45 something, right? I'm like, at your price point, that's a lot of clients. Like, you got to decrease the amount of clients you get for the more money you make. And so you have a margin to build a team around. Because that makes a lot of sense. I'm like, yeah, so you've got over limiting beliefs of charging more. So I did that with them. I spent like an hour with him. And then I'm like, do some math, man. You only need 10 clients a month to hit $50K a month. Sorry, to hit $500,000. Mm-hmm. Right? 5 times 5 is 25. Yeah. So I told him, I'm like, do you right now have the logistics to handle if I got you 10 clients right now to pay you $5K? And he's like, I never thought about that.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's why it's not here yet.
Mm-hmm.
There's no magic missing from you. You actually cannot physically handle that many clients. Right now, I read this from Bob Proctor once, years ago. It changed my life. Overnight! He said, I changed my life over. He said, if you're not prepared to achieve your goal, you'll never have it.
Yep.
He was giving an example. He's like, if you're going to buy a car, have you went to the dealership yet? Did you test drive it? Did you ask what the rates are going to be on it? Did you ask how much the monthly payments are? Did you ask how much insurance is? I'm like, well, these are a lot of good questions to ask, right, when you want to buy something, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, well, if you don't know the answer, you ain't prepared to have it. It's just going to be a wish until you do that. I'm like, that makes so much sense. That makes so much sense. How can someone even think they're going to achieve something if they don't know how they're going to do it?
Yeah.
Every time someone goes, I want to buy this, I want to buy that, I'm like, yeah, how much? Well, I haven't looked into it. I'm like, you don't want it then.
Yeah.
Like, shut up. You don't want it. I want to make this much of my business. Great. Have you thought about what the delivery of that's going to be? Oh, well, no. Bro, when you just think of one factor in the entire equation of making $50,000 a month in business, you're an amateur. You know. But you can get better at that. That's what coaches are for. You have to learn what it takes to do it.
Yep.
Biggest mistake an entrepreneur makes is only thinks about the money and the outcome, not thinks about the process and the workload. And when you don't get that, you'll either make a lot of money and now you're stuck and stressed, or you just never make it because you never actually built the business that can handle that. Those two things are the most common things that happen. There's months where I was like, why is my ass not working? Why is my this not working? Why? I would get so confused. And then I would go get coaching, and then I would realize, oh, even if it worked, I would have been in big trouble.
Yeah.
Because my ads were wrong, or my funnel wasn't enough, or the integration was. I'm like, whoa, my God saved my ass. I'm lucky I didn't make money. Mm-hmm. But then I'm going to fix it. I fix it, boom. Sales coming. I'm like, whoa. It's an energetic thing, man. You got to be prepared for the goal to get it.
Damn.
Any more comments?
We have a question, but I think we'll just save that for next week. Yeah, sounds good. Yeah, we're at 110, friends.
The next time we'll see you will be in the new year. So make the rest of your year, imagine. Well, I'm going to do that, but first let me opt out. So thanks for tuning in to Clear Talk. I hope this was an enjoyable and valuable show for you. And if you want your questions answered on this show live every Monday at 12 p.m. Eastern Time, then just go to askarmin.com, submit your questions, and we will answer them live on the show with you. And if you're on YouTube right now, hit that subscribe button and that little notification bell. If you like content like this, we release new ones every single week. And join our high-ticket coaching community if you're not already in there, so you can get some more free value through that as well. We're on a mission, okay? We are on a mission. Mission. We're on a mission to help coaches help more people. And the only way you can do that is by learning how to get your message out there. So we are on a mission to help coaches help more people by building their online business and growing it so more people can know what they do so they get more clients in their programs. If that sounds like someone like you that wants that kind of help, enter our world, subscribe, join our group, hit me up, and follow me on Instagram. We post a lot of great content on there too at @thearminshafi. And just get into our world, man. We give so much free content away. There's enough for you to start a business. And in terms of growing and scaling it, we're obviously always here if you want to help with that as well. So thanks for tuning in. I'm your host, Armin Shaffi. This is
Jeanette Oduro,
my co-host. And I hope you make the rest of your year the best of your year in 2020. See you next year.